everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Got a Dulcimer lesson today. We're going to do a real special song by the name of Aura Lee. In 1956, a fellow by the name of Elvis Aaron Presley and another fellow, Ken Darby, who wrote under a pseudonym. They wrote lyrics to this song, and Elvis recorded it as Love Me Tender. We all know that song, but we're going to go over that on Dulcimer today, and we'll do it with some metronome and stuff like that. I'm going to do some picking with it and show you that. There will be tabs available on Patreon for the version I'm doing here. If you're interested in that, it's $5 a month. The link's below to sign up. What sort of things can you do with my Dulcimer lessons? I don't think people really quite understand the full extent of what you can do with them and how they can be used for a lot more than just learning this one song this one way, okay? Especially the ones where I use a metronome, okay? If I'm using a metronome, that means the timing is right, okay? That timing is spot on there, okay? I like to think that I have really good timing and can do that without the metronome, but I just challenge you to take ones where I've used the metronome, okay? So for this song, for instance, take that and play along with it. You don't have to play the same notes. You could play it with another instrument. You could play the chords while I'm playing the notes. You know, there's just a lot of things you can do with each one of these lessons that I put out. Now, another thing you can do with it is you can understand that when I show you this, it doesn't mean for you to necessarily copy exactly what I'm doing, okay? But it's also to illustrate that, hey, when you want to practice, so what that means is grab a metronome, and there's lots of free apps, there's stuff you can pull up on YouTube, I've shown you all that, okay? So turn on a metronome, get that tab, practice it on your own. So one of the reasons I show you this is that you can do this on your own, okay? It's not always necessarily 100%, okay, we're doing this to this song. Yes, we are. But I'm also getting you used to grabbing this, turning it on, doing this. It's important, and it'll really help you. Timing is crucial. I cannot stress that enough, how crucial timing is in music, okay? You know, people, even if you're playing by yourself, folks can hear when your timing gets wonky, okay? Now, another thing to talk about is sort of musicianship and working on making our songs not sound robotic. You can play notes exactly as they're written in standard music notation. I can't read music, but if you have standard music notation, you can play notes exactly robotically as it's written, and it'll sound pretty darn good, okay? But when you bring musicianship to it and work within that timing, but sort of bend the rhythm a little bit, you get some really interesting things. Now, as beginners, you probably don't really understand a lot about this, but I want to start introducing you to that and start making you realize that while we learn from tabs, and they're great for that, we want to get away from tabs, okay? Yes, as beginners, we learn a lot from tabs, and that's wonderful, okay? But our goal, what is our goal? Our goal is to memorize that song. Learn that song, okay? Not just have it on some sheet music that we only play every now and then. We want to learn that song and make it a part of us, right? Okay, I know I'm chatting a lot here and going on and on. So I just want to introduce you to some of these concepts and things and sort of show you that there's other ways to use these lesson videos that I give you than just exactly how it's laid out here. There's other things you can do with it. So anyway, let's get on to Aura Lee. And yeah, let's play it. I'm going to move the camera and we'll get started. All right, so first I'm going to just play through the song, and I'm going to do a picking thing here. I have a wrist rest, a McSpadden wrist rest, I can't even say it, installed here. But you don't need that. You don't have to use that. I just like it. So my pattern here that I'm going to use is a bass string pluck with all my single notes. With this song, you don't, at least this version that I'm going to show you here, you don't strike your bass string during any of the melody. But what I'm going to use that for is just a sort of a drone as I'm picking. So now that sounds a little weird, but when you speed it up, it sounds pretty neat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play through it first. Then we'll do some metronome work, okay? Here we go. See how that flowed and was just nice and flowy? That's that picking that bass line that I'm doing. So if you start out with it slow and just get used to doing this, do an out pluck on your melody strings and an in pluck on your bass string. Now we do a lot of stuff on the middle string. How would that work? That's the same thing. An out pluck, in pluck, out pluck, in pluck. So do an out pluck on your melody, in pluck on your bass, out pluck on your middle, in pluck on your bass. And just sort of practice that. And get used to that. Because that little pattern right there makes that song sound really pretty. Okay, now let's get on some metronome here. 70 and see what that sounds like. It's right here in the side of the frame there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 notes in that first measure, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're gonna add in that bass string, right? So that'll make it from quarter notes to eighth notes. So in between that measure there, we're adding the bass string and making 8 notes in that measure. So that would go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It fit all between those 4 notes, those 4 beats. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's how we do our count. Okay? So when we have 8 notes in a measure, eighth notes, that would mean we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for those 4 notes, let's turn them into 8 by going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Whoops, I missed it. Let's turn them into 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So, that's how that works. Let's go through it. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, you'll see there that I put a longer rest in there. You know, that goes back to that musicianship that I was talking about. You know, we do have tabs and sheet music to guide us, but at some point we want to make this our own. So if we were to do something like this, we're still staying within the confines of the song and the timing, but we're making it our own a little bit, okay? I hope that you can sort of understand that. So that's how we would use our metronome to do that. So for our measure there, we have 4 beats in that measure because this is a 4/4 song. But if we want to put that bass line in there, we're going to add 4 more beats. Now, you can also switch it up, and I want you to understand that as well. You know, several of these measures are not using quarter notes. So they're using notes that take up a little more space, a little less space as we go. As long as your playing fits within that 4-beat span of time, you are free to do other things. You know, I want you to understand that music and timing is crucial, number one. But we can have a lot of stuff going on within the confines of that song. Okay, we can stay within our timing and keep that great, but do alternate things. Okay, so I just want you to realize that that's a thing, and I just call that musicianship. So, you know, while I do encourage you to use tablature, you know, to learn these songs and such, I want you to, as soon as you learn it, get rid of that tablature and do, you know, put your own feel into the song. Okay, I'll go through slowly playing the song again, and I'll just make it even slower. Let's go even slower. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Now I'm gonna go through it without the bass line. It's just gonna be the melody notes. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. turn the camera back up. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this lesson and got something out of it. And before I go, I always want to remind you that Jesus loves you. Bye-bye, y'all.